Hey YouTube fam and tribe, welcome back. This is part 2 for planting rice season. So I did part 1, and I'll attach the video in the description. I'll link it here for you, so check that out. Now it's been, and I'll show you what we're going to talk about here, but it's been about almost 2 months since we planted rice the first time in the first video. Right now it's almost the middle of July. The first video when we started planting was the middle of May. So, but right now I'm going to show you what the rice looks like, and we are doing some replanting today. So I want to show you the replanting, how it's done kind of in Thailand. And what I mean by that, like replanting, I might not be calling it the right thing. It's kind of where once the rice grows, you'll have some weak spots where it doesn't grow very thick. Like some spots are kind of bald, where they come back in, they pull rice from where it's super thick, and then they replant it in the weaker spots. That way everything's layered and grows perfectly. So that's what they're doing today. It's a wonderful day out. It's a little bit humid, but the weather's pretty awesome today for Thailand. So let's get going. I'll show you what's going on here, and I'll probably flip around the video. You can kind of see right now, that's Tong and that's Ang in the background. So what they're doing right now is they're replanting. They're pulling up the rice that's really thick, okay? When it's really thick, when the rice is too thick, it will kill the other rice because it basically competes for nutrients. Almost the same way like weeds. When you have a lot of weeds in a garden, you pull the weeds because the weeds will take the nutrients from your plants or what you're trying to grow in your garden. It's the same thing. When the rice is too thick, it will kill the other rice around it because it's too thick. So what they're going in and pulling some rice up, and then you can see where it's kind of weak right here. It's not very thick. Then they come in and they bury in and replant it. That's what Tong's doing out there. So what Ang's doing, Ang right here, she's picking, okay? Then Tong is planting. So basically this section right here is kind of weaker. You see a lot of it's not as thick versus like way up there. You see way up there, the land goes way up there, like by these trees. So it's pretty thick right there. We just need to work on this area. Plus way down there, kind of where Ang is, the land goes way down by these trees. So you can see how thick it is down there. So I'll flip around the camera here, show you what's going on up close and personal. I'm sure basically Ang already told me, don't put me on camera, I look ugly. So, but I'm gonna put her on camera anyway. That's the type of dude I am. So let's flip around the camera and I'll show you. So that's Ang up close and personal. So what she's doing, she's pulling the rice. So that's all rice right there. But she told me rice gets pretty high. I didn't know this. Like this is about 2 weeks of growth, but she said the full length of rice will really come up like past your hip. So she's pulling everything up. So she's pulling where the rice is super thick. Then Tong over there, he's planting it. He's replanting it over in the weak spots over there. So we can fill in the gaps. That way the rice is really beautiful. So you can kind of see, let me go out a little bit. So that's all we have to do right here. So Tong's working hard over here. Ang's doing her thing. She almost fell actually in the water. She wouldn't have got hurt, but of course, to me it would have been a little bit of a chuckle. I wish I had it on camera, but I didn't. But yeah, so this is what the rice looks like after 2 months of growth. This is what it's supposed to look like anyway. You see how thick it is down through here. And she said probably around December, that's when they come back and everything is done. And they bring in, them pull everything. I'm not using the right word. I'm not a farmer, you can tell. I'm not using the right terminology. But it goes way down by these trees here. And we'll walk down there, but I want to show you some stuff. So yeah, so let's walk down here. I'll keep on talking. And the rice is looking beautiful. She said basically the rice will get tall, like up past my hip. It will turn yellow, almost look like it's dead a little bit. Then that's when rice is ready. So it's looking pretty cool. Down here, see these trees out here? I want to show you kind of the river, because the last time I did this video, you have to go back and look at this video, because the last time I did this video, there was no water at all in the river. It was totally dry, just because that was hot season in Thailand, and now it's completely full. So go back and check out the video, the first one I'll attach in the description, and then because you'll see, I think it's near the end of the video, that the river was completely dry. Look, today, middle of July, it's completely full of water. That's how much it rains here. Rains pretty hard, but this was completely dry. You can see clear to the bottom. And it's pretty deep. It's not crazy deep, but it's pretty deep. It's definitely over your head. But this baby's full of raw water right now. And what I didn't know, let me flip around the camera so you can see me. And what I learned up in Surin, like this, the little, it's not really a river, it's more of a creek. Okay, I want to say a river, but that's not the right. I know there's like some grammar police out there that will watch the video, but this is more like a little creek, but it's a deep creek. But what I didn't know is first time we had a really super hard rain here, that this filled up, okay, over several days. Ang came and got me. She's like, you want to go fishing? I'm like, well, yeah, but where are we going to go fishing? She's like, oh no, down here. Remember where my land is, the rice, like down here. And I was like, but what are we going to fish for? Because when I saw it, this baby was flipping dry, dude, dry to the bone. So I'm thinking to myself, where in the world are we going to go fishing? You know what I mean? But what's really weird in Thailand, when it rains really hard, fish, this thing will get filled up with fish. I'll tell you how in a second. This thing will get filled up with fish, even in the fields, because the rice fields, when it rains, this is deep with water. The water is coming up probably to your knee, so it doesn't look deep, but there's a lot of water in there. There's actually fish inside here. You're basically, I can't show you today because I don't see any. Sometimes you'll see seagulls come down and they're eating fish in the middle of a field. Okay. Dude, I thought she was flipping joking, dude. I was like, what do you mean? Does it just rain fish here? but this is what I found out is that like during rainy season, when all this fills up, the fish eggs hatch. Okay, they lay fish eggs all in the fields and stuff like that. So they, like, it's kind of like during dry season, the fish eggs don't die. They just go into a dormant phase, like inside the dirt, and they stay dormant. And then once it rains, and once it gets super wet, once the conditions are just right, the eggs will hatch. And this little creek here will fill up with fish. The fish are pretty big. I mean, some of them are small, but some of them are pretty good size. You'll be amazed like how big they are. But I just flipping thought, like, dude, like, what are you talking about? I mean, it makes sense. Like they just lay eggs all over. And then when it hits dry season again, when basically all the water evaporates, it turns into dry. None of the eggs die. They just get buried in the dirt. They stay dormant once the conditions are perfect. I know I'm repeating myself, but this is amazing. I thought this was amazing information. But once the conditions become perfect again, the fish fucking hatch. There be fish in here. Like I'll switch around the camera here. So you go down. Of course, you're not going to see fish, but you can see like this is pretty deep in water. If I stepped in it, there's probably at least a foot of water in there that's sitting on the rice, and there's actually fish in there. Okay, not all over, not like abundant, because of course the birds are going to eat them too. But up here where Tong is, and Ang right now is taking a break way up there. See her by the motorbike. I brought up some water for him and everything. And there's Tong over there. I mean, the water is probably almost up to their knees in some of these areas. So I'll walk up here, I'll show you. I'll talk to you, of course. So yeah, as I walk up here and I'll show you, I mean, this is pretty it, about 2 months in. And so we're replanting. And after this, Ang said probably by the end of the month, the end of July, beginning of August, they call it spraying with vitamin. That's what she calls it. You spray vitamins on your rice, but it's like a nourishment. It's, you're not spraying for bugs or anything, but it's just a nourishment that gives them a little bit more vitamins. It helps them grow. Especially, she said, especially like if there's a dry spell, doesn't rain so much. She said you really have to do it. So she said like probably by the end of July, beginning of August, we'll have to spray the vitamin on everything. Then so that's coming up. I might not do a video. Maybe I do. I'll wait and see if I do a video on it. But we'll come up here definitely, and check it out and stuff like that. But let me flip around the camera. I'll show you Tong, so you can see how deep the water is. Ing's taking a break, so let me flip around. So there's Tong right there. So it's not quite up to his knees. It's almost. The water's pretty deep. So you can see just in a rice field, the water collects pretty deep. Not in every area, but it collects pretty deep. So this is all the water right here. Let me back out. So Ang was working right here when she almost fell in the water. But she's taking a break over there, chilling and talking. So now doing a little sneaky video, some B-roll. Ang's getting ready to do some planting. So you can see how deep the water is. The water comes up about to her knees right in the rice field. So that's what she's doing right there, is she has the plant she already pulled, the rice plant she already pulled, and she's planting where there's no rice growing. And a lot of them, they've been doing this since they were kids. So a lot of them have, even Ang, has experience doing this growing up. Because lots of times as kids, they would come out and help their grandparents or their parents in the rice fields. Tong over there being sneaky. He's over there being sneaky, like hiding. He don't want me to put him on camera. Then we have Ang over here doing some, Tong gets a kick out of this stuff. He's like, do a video, put me in it. So yeah, that's exactly what it is right there. Besides taking a picture of her butt. She probably heard me over there like, what are you doing? But yeah, so she's pretty far out there. We have Tong over there. But that's it, my friends. Just want to share that with you. But definitely check out the first video. Again, I'll attach it in the description for you. And but that's like the beginning stage, watching them plant, watching them do stuff. And they do I kind of filmed it because not every country can plant rice. So it's interesting to me. Plus here in Thailand, they still do things very, very old school. Just like today, like they come out in person and pull up and replant, rather than using machinery and stuff like that to do it. So that's kind of cool to share also. But anyway, blessing to you. Remember, I love you guys. Comment below. Love to hear your comments and thoughts on this. Other than that, peace out, and I'll see you in the next video.